Welcome to my channel. Have you ever found yourself stuck in life, constantly wishing for change but never taking the steps to make it happen? Well, today I'm here to show you how taking action, no matter how small, can change your life. We're going to dive deep into simple but powerful principles that will help you break free from inaction and start living a life you've always dreamed of. Are you ready to stop waiting for the perfect time and take control? Then keep watching, because this video is going to transform the way you think about taking action and changing your life. Chapter 1: The Power of Now. Why Waiting is a Mistake. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but what sets successful people apart is how they use their time. Every person, no matter their background or situation, gets the same amount of time, yet some manage to achieve great things, while others struggle to make any progress. The difference? How they use their time. Procrastination might feel good in the moment, but it's the enemy of progress. It's easy to convince yourself that you'll get started tomorrow, that the perfect time will come, or that you'll feel more motivated later. But what you don't realize is that tomorrow never truly arrives. Every time you push something off, you're delaying your future success. The truth is, the perfect moment will never come. Life is unpredictable, and time keeps moving forward whether you're ready or not. If you wait for the stars to align or for everything to fall into place, you might find yourself waiting forever. Every second you waste today is a second you'll never get back. The longer you wait, the more time slips away, and before you know it, your goals are still just dreams. In this chapter, we're going to explore why waiting is such a mistake and why taking action now, no matter how small the step, will set you on the path to success. When you start right now, you're creating momentum that will propel you forward. Small actions, taken consistently, build up over time and lead to big changes. If you want to make progress, you don't need to take giant leaps. You just need to take the first step, and then the next one, and the next. Starting now doesn't mean you need to do everything at once. It just means you stop delaying and begin. When you take action, you take control of your future. Every step you take, no matter how tiny, brings you closer to your goals. The power of now lies in understanding that the present moment is the only time you truly have. You cannot control the past, and the future is uncertain. But today, right now, is within your reach. You don't have to have it all figured out. In fact, most people don't have a clear picture of where they'll end up when they begin. But that's okay. What matters is that you start. And the best time to start? Now. So stop waiting. Take that first step, however small it may seem, and you'll find that the momentum you create will carry you further than you ever imagined. In this chapter, we've learned that waiting for the perfect time is a mistake. Every small action today counts, and the more you delay, the more you let time slip away. The key is to take action now, no matter how small, because that's how progress happens. So, what are you waiting for? The time to start is now. Chapter 2: The first step is always the hardest. How to overcome fear and doubt. Fear holds us back from taking action. It whispers in our ears, telling us we're not good enough, that we'll fail, or that the unknown is just too risky. The thought of failure or the uncertainty of what might happen makes us hesitant to even try. It paralyzes us, keeping us stuck in the same place day after day. But here's the truth. Fear is not something to be afraid of. In fact, fear is simply a signal to move forward, not a reason to stay stuck. Imagine this. Every time you feel fear, it's actually your mind preparing you for something important. Fear is your body's way of telling you that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, where growth and change happen. It's not a warning to stop. It's a reminder that something worthwhile is on the other side. But the challenge is learning how to push past that fear and take the first step toward what you want. In this chapter, we'll explore practical methods to overcome self-doubt and break free from the paralyzing fear that keeps us from acting. The first step is always the hardest. We've all been there, staring at a goal we desperately want to achieve, but feeling frozen because we're afraid of the unknown. Whether it's starting a new project, changing careers, or even making a lifestyle change, fear often convinces us to stay in our comfort zone, but staying there guarantees nothing will change. The key is to reframe how you think about fear. Instead of viewing it as something to avoid, recognize it as a sign that you're about to embark on something new and exciting. It's a natural part of growth. When you acknowledge this, fear becomes less intimidating. Instead of trying to get rid of it, embrace it. Understand that fear will always be there. It's just a part of life. But it doesn't have to control you. One powerful method to push through fear is to focus on taking small steps. Start with one tiny action, something so small that it feels almost insignificant. The idea is not to overwhelm yourself with the enormity of the goal, but to get started, to break the silence, and take that first step. It might be something as simple as researching your goal, writing down a plan, or having a conversation with someone who has experience in what you're trying to do. These small actions will help reduce the anxiety around the big goal and make the process feel more manageable. Another way to fight fear is by setting realistic expectations. Many of us get stuck in our heads, imagining worst-case scenarios that rarely come true. We think about all the ways we could fail or embarrass ourselves. But what if, instead of focusing on what could go wrong, we focused on what could go right? What if we imagined all the success, satisfaction, and growth that could come from taking action? When you shift your mindset from fear of failure to excitement about the possibilities, the fear begins to lose its grip. Self-doubt is another sneaky enemy of progress. It tells us we're not capable, that others are better, or that we don't have the skills to succeed. But remember, everyone feels self-doubt at some point. It's a natural part of being human. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck is not that they don't experience doubt, but that they don't let it stop them. They take action in spite of it. They move forward, not because they're certain of success, but because they trust that their actions will bring them closer to their goal, step by step. A great way to overcome self-doubt is by looking at past successes. Reflect on moments when you've pushed through fear or doubt before and succeeded. These examples will remind you that you are capable and that taking action is the key to moving past fear. Write them down, keep them close, and whenever doubt creeps in, refer to them. You've done hard things before, and you can do it again. Finally, remember that perfection is not the goal. Fear and doubt often paralyze us because we want everything to be perfect before we start. But perfection is an illusion. The truth is, progress is made through mistakes, learning, and continuous effort. The sooner you accept that mistakes are a part of the process, the easier it will be to push past fear and take that first step. Success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from stepping up, even when you don't feel ready. So, what's the takeaway from this chapter? Fear is not the enemy. It's a sign that you're on the right path. Self-doubt will always exist, but it doesn't have to control your actions. The first step may feel hard, but it's the most important one. And the more you take, the easier it gets. In the next chapter, we'll discuss how small actions lead to big results, and why the key to lasting change is consistency. But for now, remember, fear is a signal to go forward, not to stay stuck. Take that first step. You've got this. Chapter 3. Break the habit of inaction. Building a routine that supports your goals. Consistency is key when it comes to achieving anything. We all know the feeling of excitement when we set a new goal, but excitement alone won't get us to the finish line. What keeps us on track, what makes the difference between success and failure, is consistency. And consistency doesn't happen by accident. It's something you must consciously create by building habits and routines that support your goals. In this chapter, we'll discuss the importance of creating daily habits that align with your goals. The truth is, success isn't built by doing something extraordinary once in a while. Success is built by taking small, consistent actions every day. The habits you form today will determine the person you become tomorrow. But how do you build these habits and integrate them into your life? It starts with creating a routine that aligns with your aspirations. A routine isn't just a list of things you need to do, it's the structure that keeps you moving forward every day, even when motivation is low. So, how do you create a routine that ensures progress? The first step is to identify your goals clearly. Without clear goals, it's impossible to know what habits to build or what actions to take. Whether you want to lose weight, improve your career, learn a new skill, or start a business, the first thing you need to do is define your end goal. This will give you direction and purpose. Once your goals are clear, you can break them down into smaller, manageable tasks. Next, it's time to prioritize these tasks. What's the most important thing you can do every day that will bring you closer to your goal? Once you identify this, make it the first task of your day. Why? Because the first few hours of your day set the tone for the rest of it. If you start strong, you're more likely to carry that momentum throughout the day. Starting with a task that is aligned with your goals helps you to focus and gives you a sense of accomplishment early on, making it easier to tackle the rest of your day. Now, let's talk about managing distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, emails, phone notifications, television, and the list goes on. These distractions break our focus and kill our productivity. To stay on track, you need to minimize distractions as much as possible. Turn off notifications when you're working on a task. Set aside specific times for social media or entertainment. When you're focused, give your full attention to the task at hand. One technique to improve focus is the Pomodoro technique. Work in focused 25-minute intervals, followed by a 5-minute break. This helps to maintain high levels of concentration and prevents burnout. But how do you build momentum? Momentum is what keeps you going when motivation fades, and it's created through consistency. The more consistently you take action, the more momentum you build, and the easier it becomes to continue. To keep momentum going, celebrate small wins along the way. Whether it's completing a task or sticking to your routine for a week, take a moment to acknowledge your progress. This positive reinforcement will keep you motivated and remind you that you are moving in the right direction. Another key to building a routine that supports your goals is to be flexible and kind to yourself. Life happens. Some days you might not be able to stick to your routine perfectly, and that's okay. The goal is not perfection, but progress. If you miss a day or slip up, don't give up on the entire process. Just get back on track the next day. The most successful people are not those who never fail, but those who keep going even after setbacks. Finally, let's talk about consistency over perfection. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if we don't do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. What matters most is showing up consistently, even when it's not perfect. A little progress every day adds up over time. Think of it like compound interest. Small actions consistently taken will lead to huge results over time. Even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere, remember that every small step is bringing you closer to your goal. So, how do you put this all together? Start by setting clear goals and breaking them down into manageable tasks. Create a daily routine that includes time for the most important actions. Minimize distractions and focus on building momentum through consistency. And most importantly, be kind to yourself when things don't go according to plan. By incorporating these habits into your life, you'll find that action becomes a part of your lifestyle, not just a one-time effort. The routine you build today will lead you to the success you're striving for tomorrow. Chapter 4. Stop blaming, start taking responsibility. How accountability changes everything. Blaming external factors is easy. It's easy to point fingers at others, whether it's our circumstances, our past, or people around us, when things aren't going the way we want. But here's the truth. Blaming others doesn't solve anything. In fact, it only serves as a barrier to growth and keeps us stuck. It keeps us in a cycle of helplessness, where we feel like victims of the world around us, and the power to change our situation slips out of our hands. In this chapter, we'll focus on the power of taking full responsibility for your life. Because when you take responsibility, you take control. No longer are you at the mercy of your circumstances. No longer are you a passenger on the ride of life. You become the driver. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. It's about owning your actions, your decisions, and your results. This is the mindset shift that will completely transform your life. When you take full accountability, you stop waiting for someone else to change, and you focus on changing yourself. Many people fall into the trap of blaming. Maybe it's blaming their upbringing, the economy, their boss, their friends, or even the government for their lack of progress. While it's true that we can't always control the things that happen to us, we do have control over how we respond to them. No matter where you come from or what challenges you've faced, you always have the power to decide how to move forward. The key to personal growth lies in taking responsibility for your own journey, no matter what obstacles you've encountered. When you take responsibility, you shift from a victim mentality to a proactive, empowered one. You stop waiting for someone else to come and fix your life. Instead, you become the person who makes things happen. This shift is crucial because it changes how you approach every situation. Instead of thinking, "I can't do anything about this," you start asking, "What can I do to improve this?" It changes the way you solve problems, the way you set goals, and the way you move forward in life. Let's dive deeper into what accountability looks like in practice. It starts with being honest with yourself. This is not about being hard on yourself, but about being real. Take a good look at where you are in life and ask yourself, how did I get here? What choices did I make that brought me to this point? And most importantly, what can I do to change the outcome moving forward? Accountability to yourself means that you own up to your actions. When you miss a deadline, fall short of a goal, or make a mistake, instead of making excuses or blaming others, you take responsibility. You say, "I messed up. What can I do to fix it and learn from it?" This doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're willing to own your mistakes, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones to growth. Being accountable to others is just as important. If you set a goal, share it with someone. Tell a friend, mentor, or family member about your intentions. This creates a sense of external accountability. Now there's someone else who can ask you about your progress and keep you on track. It's a powerful motivator, as it adds a layer of responsibility beyond just your own desires. Plus, the people who truly care about you will help keep you accountable, offer support, and celebrate your successes. Accountability also means not letting external circumstances define your success. Yes, things can get hard. Life can throw unexpected challenges your way, and it can feel unfair. But the key to taking control of your life is to stop making excuses based on what's happening outside of you. Focus on what's within your control, your attitude, your actions, and your decisions. Here's the powerful truth. When you start taking responsibility, you realize that the power has always been in your hands. No one else can change your life but you. By taking ownership of your decisions, you stop waiting for someone or something else to give you permission to succeed. You become your own creator, taking responsibility for every part of your journey and shaping the path ahead. But what about when things go wrong? What if you try and still fail? Accountability doesn't mean you'll never fail. It means you learn from your failures, pick yourself up, and keep going. People who succeed aren't those who avoid failure. They are the ones who persist despite it. When you take responsibility, failure becomes part of the process. You don't see failure as a dead end, but as an opportunity to learn, grow, and come back stronger. In the end, responsibility is the key to unlocking your full potential. When you stop blaming, start taking responsibility, and hold yourself accountable, you empower yourself to take control of your life. The shift from a victim mentality to an empowered, proactive mindset is the most powerful change you can make. No one can stop you but yourself. Remember, you are the creator of your life story. When you take responsibility for it, you unlock your true potential and put yourself in control of your future. Chapter 5. The Magic of Small Steps. How progress happens when you start small. Big changes don't happen overnight. In fact, the most successful people didn't achieve their dreams by taking one giant leap. They did it by taking consistent, small steps, every single day. While we often get caught up in the idea of making dramatic, life-altering changes, the truth is that real transformation comes from taking small, manageable actions that build up over time. In this chapter, we're going to focus on why breaking your goals into smaller, achievable pieces is the key to success. We'll explore how starting small and celebrating minor wins can help you keep the momentum going, even when things seem slow. Let's start by addressing the common misconception. Success is not about having one perfect breakthrough moment. It's about accumulating small wins, one step at a time, that eventually lead to major progress. Think about it like building a house. You don't build the house in a single day. You start with a foundation, and you add one brick at a time. Over time, as each brick is carefully placed, the house begins to take shape. But none of this happens if you try to rush the process or skip steps. The same goes for your goals. Whether you're trying to lose weight, learn a new skill, grow your business, or improve your relationships, it can seem overwhelming to think about the big picture. This is where the magic of small steps comes in. When you break your goal into smaller, more manageable tasks, it no longer feels impossible. Instead of seeing the mountain, you're now focused on climbing the next small hill. You'll begin to realize that achieving your big goal doesn't require one giant leap. It requires thousands of tiny steps, each one bringing you closer to your destination. The key to success is consistency. It's easy to get discouraged when we don't see immediate results. But remember, progress is often slow and steady. At first, the small actions may feel insignificant. You might work for hours on something, only to see a tiny improvement. But don't be discouraged. Every small step is a step in the right direction. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you are building momentum. And momentum is what will carry you to the finish line. One of the most powerful ways to stay motivated during this process is by celebrating those small wins. Acknowledge every step you take, even if it seems small. When you finish a task or accomplish a goal, Take a moment to appreciate your progress. This positive reinforcement helps to build confidence and reinforces the habit of taking action. When you celebrate your wins, you remind yourself that you are capable of achieving your goals, and that keeps you moving forward. In fact, celebrating small wins is essential for maintaining motivation. It's easy to get discouraged if you focus only on the big goal and how far you still have to go. But when you shift your focus to the small steps and the progress you're making, you'll find that the journey feels less daunting. You'll start to see how each step adds up to bigger results, and that will fuel your desire to keep going. One of the most important aspects of small steps is that they allow you to build a sustainable pace. Big changes can feel overwhelming, and it's easy to burn out if you try to force too much change too quickly. But when you focus on taking small, consistent steps, you create a routine that works with your life instead of against it. This approach helps you to make progress without overwhelming yourself or risking burnout. Over time, those small steps will add up to something much bigger than you could have achieved by trying to make huge changes all at once. Another benefit of starting small is that it gives you room to adjust. When you're trying to tackle a huge goal, it can be hard to know exactly what will work or how to get there. But when you break it down into smaller steps, you have the flexibility to adjust as you go. You'll have the opportunity to experiment, learn from your mistakes, and adapt your approach without feeling like you've failed. Each step is an opportunity to learn and grow, which is just as important as the destination itself. So, how do you start small? The first step is to take your big goal and break it down into smaller, more manageable tasks. For example, if you're trying to lose weight, don't focus on the total amount you want to lose. Instead, start by focusing on eating a healthy breakfast each day or walking for 10 minutes after dinner. If you're building a business, don't focus on having a successful product right away. Start by focusing on market research or creating your first piece of content. By focusing on small tasks that move you closer to your big goal, you'll make steady progress and avoid feeling overwhelmed. Once you've broken your goals into smaller tasks, it's time to take action. Start with one small step. Don't worry about perfection. Just get started. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, the next one becomes easier. And the more you take, the more momentum you build. The key to success isn't about doing everything at once. It's about focusing on the small actions that, when compounded over time, lead to big results. The journey might feel slow at first, but remember, every step counts. Stay consistent, celebrate the small wins, and keep building momentum. Over time, those small steps will lead to significant change, and you'll look back and realize how far you've come. In the end, the magic of small steps is that they allow you to keep moving forward, no matter how slow or small the progress may seem. The consistency you build today will become the foundation for success tomorrow. Chapter 6. The comfort zone is a trap. How to step outside and embrace growth. Change requires discomfort. Staying in your comfort zone may feel safe, but it's also the fastest way to stay stagnant. It's easy to stay in a place where everything feels familiar and predictable. But here's the hard truth. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. Growth only happens when you step outside of what's comfortable and face the unknown. In this chapter, we'll talk about how to break free from your comfort zone and embrace discomfort as a path to growth. You'll discover how stepping outside your usual environment or routine can bring unexpected growth and excitement into your life. The comfort zone is a place where everything feels easy and familiar. You know what to expect, and there are no surprises. It's safe. It feels good. But here's the catch. When you stay in your comfort zone for too long, you stop growing. You stop challenging yourself. You stop experiencing the excitement and potential that life has to offer. And before you know it, you become stuck. Think about it this way. If you're constantly doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts, and following the same routines, you're not really expanding your abilities or learning new things. You're simply maintaining the status quo. And while there's nothing wrong with enjoying stability, if you want to grow, achieve new things, and reach your potential, you need to push beyond the boundaries of what feels safe. Stepping outside of your comfort zone is where real growth happens. It's where you find new opportunities, develop new skills, and discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. But the idea of stepping outside your comfort zone can be terrifying. The unknown is scary. We fear failure, embarrassment, and making mistakes. But the reality is, those fears are often much bigger in our minds than in reality. The most successful people in the world didn't achieve greatness by staying comfortable. They achieved it by embracing discomfort and stepping into the unknown. You don't have to take massive leaps to step outside your comfort zone. It's about taking small steps that challenge you in new ways. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, trying a new activity that scares you, or taking on a new responsibility at work. Each of these steps may feel uncomfortable at first, but over time, they build your confidence and expand your horizons. The key to breaking free from the comfort zone is to change your perspective on discomfort. Instead of viewing it as something negative, start seeing it as a sign of growth. Discomfort is simply your body's way of telling you that you're pushing yourself into new territory. It's the feeling that comes with learning something new, trying something you've never done before, or overcoming a challenge. And that feeling is a sign that you're on the right path. When you embrace discomfort, you open the door to new opportunities. Imagine what could happen if you took that uncomfortable step today. You could meet new people, discover new interests, or achieve goals you never thought possible. The possibilities are endless once you break free from the limitations of your comfort zone. One of the most powerful things about stepping outside of your comfort zone is that it often leads to unexpected growth. When you try something new, you'll likely make mistakes along the way. But each mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve. It's through failure and setbacks that we gain wisdom and resilience. The more you embrace the discomfort of trying new things, the more capable and confident you'll become. It's also important to remember that growth isn't always linear. You might take a step forward and then take 2 steps back. That's okay. The process of growth isn't about perfection. It's about making progress, even if that progress is slow. Every step you take outside of your comfort zone is a victory. It's a sign that you're willing to take risks and embrace the challenges that come with growth. But how do you start? Begin by identifying one area of your life where you feel comfortable, but know that growth is possible. It could be in your career, your personal development, or even your social life. Once you've identified that area, take one small step towards it. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because that moment may never come. Just take that first step, even if it feels uncomfortable. The act of stepping out, even in a small way, will give you the confidence to take bigger steps down the road. The key is to keep moving forward. The more you stretch yourself, the easier it becomes to face new challenges and embrace discomfort. Over time, what once felt scary and overwhelming will become second nature. You'll find that stepping outside your comfort zone doesn't feel as uncomfortable as it used to. In fact, it will start to feel exciting. You'll look forward to the new opportunities that discomfort brings, and you'll discover just how much potential you have inside. So why is the comfort zone a trap? Because it keeps you stuck. It keeps you from growing, learning, and becoming the person you're meant to be. But when you step outside of it, you step into a world of possibilities. The discomfort you feel is just a signal that you're on the verge of something new, something exciting, and something worth pursuing. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how to stop waiting for the perfect time and start taking action right now. But for now, remember this: growth only happens when you're willing to step into the unknown. Don't let your comfort zone keep you from the life you deserve. Take that first step today and watch how everything changes. Chapter 7: The Art of Self-Discipline. How to stay focused when life gets tough. Self-discipline is the muscle that helps you stay on course when things get hard. It's what keeps you moving forward when the world around you is full of distractions and challenges. The truth is, life will never be without its difficulties. There will always be things that try to pull you off track, whether it's procrastination, temptations, or unexpected obstacles. But self-discipline is the tool you need to overcome these hurdles and stay focused on your goals. In this chapter, we'll explore how to build mental strength, stay focused on your goals, and push through tough times. You'll learn strategies to avoid procrastination, resist distractions, and cultivate the discipline you need to succeed. The first step to mastering self-discipline is understanding that it's not about doing things perfectly or always having motivation. It's about consistency. Motivation can come and go, but self-discipline is the key to making progress even when you don't feel like it. You won't always feel inspired to work toward your goals, but that's when discipline steps in. It's about doing the work, even when you'd rather not. One of the biggest enemies of self-discipline is procrastination. We've all been there, putting things off until the last minute, telling ourselves we'll do it later. But the truth is, procrastination is a habit that only makes things harder in the long run. The longer you wait to take action, the more stress you create for yourself. It's easy to make excuses and delay tasks, but doing so only drains your energy and steals your time. To overcome procrastination, you need to break the task down into smaller, manageable pieces. When you look at a big task as a whole, it can seem overwhelming. But when you focus on one small part at a time, it becomes much more manageable. Instead of saying, I have to do this big project, say, I'll spend 10 minutes on this task today. When you start small, you build momentum, and once you get started, it's easier to keep going. The key is to take that first step, no matter how small. Another important aspect of self-discipline is learning how to say no to distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, television, emails, and endless notifications. These things pull us away from what's important and take us off course. To stay focused, you need to eliminate or minimize distractions as much as possible. One way to do this is by setting clear boundaries. For example, if you need to focus on a task, turn off your phone or put it in another room. If you're working on something important, dedicate time to it without checking your messages every few minutes. The more you can eliminate distractions, the more focused you'll be. Another method is to block out specific times for certain activities. Instead of saying, I'll work whenever I can, schedule time during your day to work on your goals and stick to it. But self-discipline isn't just about avoiding distractions. It's also about pushing through temptations. Whether it's the temptation to quit when things get tough, or the temptation to give in to comfort and avoid hard work, discipline is what helps you stay on track. There will be moments when you'll be tempted to take the easy road, but it's during these moments that your self-discipline will determine your success. To overcome these temptations, remind yourself of why you started in the first place. What are your long-term goals? What does success look like for you? Keeping your vision in mind will help you stay focused on the bigger picture. It's also helpful to develop habits that support your goals. When you create routines and stick to them, discipline becomes easier because it's no longer something you have to think about. It's simply part of your lifestyle. Push through difficulties by developing a mindset of perseverance. When challenges arise, and they will, don't give up. Instead, face them head-on and keep moving forward, one step at a time. Remember, setbacks are a natural part of the journey. The key is to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. Each time you overcome a challenge, you build resilience and strength, and you come one step closer to achieving your dreams. One of the best ways to strengthen your self-discipline is by setting clear, achievable goals. When you know exactly what you're working toward, it's easier to stay focused. Break your goals into smaller, manageable tasks and set deadlines for each one. This will help you stay on track and prevent you from feeling overwhelmed. It's also important to track your progress. Keep a journal or make a checklist to mark off the tasks you complete. Seeing your progress in writing can give you a sense of accomplishment and motivate you to keep going. Even if things don't go perfectly, remember that progress is still progress, and each small step brings you closer to your ultimate goal. Self-discipline isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a skill you can develop with practice. Just like building physical strength, building mental strength takes time. The more you practice staying focused, avoiding distractions, and pushing through difficulties, the stronger your self-discipline will become. The more consistent you are, the easier it will be to stay on course. The truth is, the difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to one thing: the ability to stick with it. The ability to keep going even when it gets hard. The ability to show up every day and put in the work even when motivation is low. So, how do you develop the art of self-discipline? Start by taking small actions, one at a time. Set clear goals, minimize distractions, and keep moving forward, even when you face challenges. Self-discipline won't happen overnight, but with consistent effort, you'll find that you're able to stay focused and push through difficulties more easily. And as you strengthen your discipline, you'll find that success becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Chapter 8. Motivation isn't everything. Why action comes before motivation. Many people wait for motivation to hit them before they take action. They sit, they plan, and they wait for that spark of inspiration that will drive them to finally get started. But here's the hard truth: motivation doesn't come first. Action does. In fact, waiting for motivation is one of the biggest traps you can fall into when trying to achieve your goals. The reality is, motivation comes after you start doing. It's through taking the first step, even when you don't feel like it, that you create the momentum that fuels your motivation. In this chapter, we're going to explore why action must come first and how taking small, consistent steps, even when you don't feel motivated, can lead to big results. You'll learn how successful people use action to ignite their passion and drive, and why waiting for motivation is actually a recipe for stagnation. Let's start by debunking the common myth that you need to be motivated before you can take action. This idea is what keeps so many people stuck in the planning stage, never moving forward. They think that motivation is a prerequisite for starting. They think, once I feel motivated, I'll work on my goals. But what happens when that motivation doesn't show up? They wait, and they wait, and they never get started. Here's the truth: motivation doesn't magically appear out of nowhere. It's something that builds over time, and it's built through action. The more you do, the more momentum you create, and momentum is what keeps you going. So, if you're waiting for motivation to hit you before you get started, you're actually just delaying your success. Successful people don't wait for motivation. They create it. They understand that action is what drives motivation. When they don't feel like working, they don't wait for a wave of inspiration to show up. Instead, they start small. They take the first step, even if it's just a small one. And it's that small action that ignites the spark of motivation. Once they get going, the momentum kicks in, and they find that the motivation they were waiting for comes naturally. Think about it. How often do you feel like doing something you know is important, but you can't summon the motivation to begin? That's normal. But what happens when you force yourself to take just one small step? Suddenly, the task doesn't feel so overwhelming. The hardest part is over. The waiting is done. You've broken the mental barrier that kept you stuck, and now you're moving forward. And as you continue, Your motivation grows because you're seeing progress. Another powerful aspect of taking action is that it builds confidence. The more you act, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle the challenges ahead. Every small win you achieve gives you the confidence to take on bigger challenges. Each step reinforces the belief that you can succeed, and this belief in yourself is the fuel that drives motivation. The more confident you feel, the more likely you are to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. So, how do you create the momentum to fuel your motivation? The first step is to stop waiting for the perfect time to get started. The perfect time never comes. The right moment to take action is always now. You can wait for motivation to appear, but while you're waiting, you're missing out on valuable time and progress. Instead, start small. Take that first step, even if you don't feel like it. Here are some practical tips to help you get started. Set small, manageable goals. If the task seems overwhelming, break it down into smaller chunks. Focus on doing just one small part of it, and once you begin, it'll be easier to keep going. Focus on the process, not the result. Instead of worrying about the outcome, focus on the action. For example, if you're writing a book, don't focus on finishing the entire thing. Focus on writing for 10 minutes today. The process of doing, no matter how small, will build momentum. Commit to just 5 minutes. If you really don't feel like starting, commit to working for just 5 minutes. Often, once you've started, you'll find that you're willing to keep going. Create routines. Make taking action a habit. If you make a habit of taking small steps every day, you'll find that motivation comes naturally as you build momentum. Celebrate progress. Every time you take action, even if it's just a small step, celebrate it. This helps reinforce the positive feedback loop of action and motivation. Remember, motivation follows action. You don't need to wait for a sudden burst of energy or inspiration. You can create your own motivation by taking the first step. The more you act, the more motivated you'll feel. It's like pushing a heavy boulder. At first, it's hard to get it moving, but once it starts rolling, it gains momentum and becomes easier to control. The best part about this is that it's not about waiting for the perfect moment or feeling inspired. It's about building the habit of taking action even when you don't feel like it. Once you start, the motivation will follow. In the next chapter, we'll dive into how setbacks and failures are part of the process, and how you can use them as stepping stones to success. But for now, remember this: action is the key that unlocks motivation. Start today and watch your motivation grow. Chapter 9. Setbacks are part of the process. How to turn failures into fuel for success. Failure isn't the end, it's part of the journey. In fact, setbacks and failures are essential for growth. They teach us valuable lessons, challenge us to improve, and ultimately push us toward success. So many people see failure as a roadblock, something to be avoided or feared. But the truth is, failure is one of the most powerful tools you have for success. In this chapter, we'll explore why setbacks are crucial for personal and professional growth, and how you can turn them into valuable lessons. We'll look at how to view failure as feedback, not as a reason to quit, and how to bounce back stronger after every setback. The first step is to shift your mindset about failure. Most of us are conditioned to believe that failure means we're not good enough or that we've reached the end of the road. We think, if I fail, it means I'm a failure. But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every successful person has faced setbacks. In fact, the more successful someone becomes, the more failures they've likely encountered. What makes them different is how they respond to failure. Instead of seeing failure as something to avoid, successful people view it as an opportunity to learn. Each failure teaches them something new about themselves and the world around them. It shows them what doesn't work, so they can try a different approach. Failure is feedback. It tells you where you can improve, what you can do differently, and where you need to focus your energy. When you fail, it's easy to get discouraged and want to quit. You might feel like you're not good enough or that you'll never succeed. But here's the secret. You are not your failure. Just because something didn't work out the way you planned doesn't mean you're incapable of succeeding. Failure is not a reflection of your worth or potential. It's simply a part of the process that everyone goes through. Think about the most successful people in the world: Thomas Edison, Steve Jobs, Walt Disney. Each of these individuals faced numerous failures throughout their careers. Edison famously failed thousands of times before he finally invented the light bulb. Jobs was fired from the company he created before returning to lead it to unprecedented success. Disney's early works were rejected multiple times before he built his empire. These people didn't quit when they failed. They used their failures as fuel to keep going, to learn, and to improve. One of the most important lessons failure teaches us is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after setbacks and keep moving forward. When you encounter a failure, it's normal to feel discouraged. But the key is not to let that failure define you or stop you in your tracks. The faster you get back up and keep moving, the faster you'll see progress. Every time you bounce back, you build mental and emotional strength, and that makes you more likely to succeed the next time. To turn failure into fuel for success, it's important to analyze what went wrong and extract the lessons from the experience. Don't just accept failure as an unfortunate event. Use it as a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently? What did I learn about myself or the process? How can I improve next time? By doing this, you're not just looking at failure as something negative. You're actively engaging with it, learning from it, and using it to improve. This turns failure into a valuable tool that helps you move closer to your goals. Another important part of bouncing back from failure is patience. Success doesn't happen overnight, and there will be times when things don't go according to plan. It's easy to get frustrated or give up when things aren't working, but remember that progress takes time. You won't always get it right the first time, and that's okay. The key is to keep trying, keep learning, and keep moving forward. And finally, celebrate the small wins along the way. Even after a setback, it's important to recognize the progress you've made. Celebrate the fact that you're still going, that you didn't give up, and that you've learned something new. This positive reinforcement will help you maintain momentum and keep you motivated to push through any future setbacks. Remember, failure is not the end. It's just a step on the road to success. Every failure brings you one step closer to your goal. The most successful people aren't those who have avoided failure. They're the ones who have faced it, learned from it, and kept going. You can do the same. In the next chapter, we'll explore the importance of building mental toughness and how to keep pushing forward even when life gets tough. But for now, take this lesson with you. Setbacks are part of the process. Learn from them, bounce back stronger, and keep moving forward. The journey to success isn't always smooth, but it's always worth it. Chapter 10. Taking action is the key to transformation, creating lasting change in your life. The final chapter will bring everything together, showing you how all the lessons we've discussed so far come into play when you consistently take action. Up until now, we've talked about the importance of time, overcoming fear, building good habits, pushing through difficulties, and how failure is not the end, but a learning opportunity. But now, we'll focus on the most important factor in achieving lasting change: taking action. Action is the thread that ties all of these lessons together. Without action, nothing happens. Without consistent, intentional action, your goals will remain just that. Goals, dreams that you think about but never bring to life. But when you take action, no matter how small, you set the wheels in motion. Over time, those small steps compound, and what once seemed impossible becomes achievable. You've learned that waiting for motivation is a trap. Now you understand that the key to creating lasting change is to take action first. The good news is that taking action doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't require you to change everything in a day. It's about starting, even if the steps you take seem small. The more you act, the more momentum you create, and the more motivated you'll become to keep going. One of the most powerful things about taking action is how it leads to transformation over time. It's like planting a seed. At first, you don't see much happening on the surface. But as you keep watering it, giving it sunlight and taking care of it, it starts to grow. Similarly, the actions you take today might feel small or insignificant. But as they compound over time, they will lead to big, lasting changes in your life. The key is consistency. Consistency is what turns small actions into significant results. You may not see immediate progress, and that's okay. But remember that every action you take is one step closer to your dream. Whether it's working toward a promotion at work, starting a new exercise routine, or learning a new skill, each day you take action brings you closer to your goal. The key is to keep going, even when it feels like you're not seeing results immediately. Trust the process, and trust that the steps you're taking will eventually pay off. As you continue to take action, you'll also start to build confidence. Every time you take a step, you prove to yourself that you are capable. The more you act, the more you'll believe in your ability to succeed. Confidence doesn't come from thinking about success. It comes from taking action and seeing the results of your efforts. Each small success, no matter how minor, builds your confidence and strengthens your resolve. The process of action is also how you create a life of purpose and fulfillment. When you take consistent action, you align your life with your values and goals. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to begin and start creating the life you want right now. The more action you take, the more purposeful your life becomes. It's no longer about wishing for change. It's about creating it with your own efforts. Taking action is also the key to overcoming fear and self-doubt. When you act, you realize that the fears you've been holding onto aren't as powerful as you thought. Every time you push past those fears and take a step forward, you build resilience and mental strength. Over time, you'll find that you're no longer paralyzed by fear or doubt. Instead, you'll be empowered by the knowledge that you can handle whatever comes your way. The more you act, the more confident you'll feel in your ability to overcome challenges. By now, you have all the tools you need to turn your dreams into reality. You've learned that time is your most valuable resource. You've learned how to break free from fear, embrace discomfort, and build habits that support your goals. You've learned that failure is not a dead end, but an opportunity to grow. And now, you know that taking action is the key to transformation. So what are you waiting for? Start today. Take that first step, no matter how small, and trust that every action you take will bring you closer to your dreams. The path to success is not easy, but it's worth it. Every time you take action, you get closer to the life you've always wanted. Every small step compounds to create lasting change. Remember, action is the key to transforming your life. With consistency, persistence, and the courage to take that first step, you can achieve anything. The life you dream of is waiting for you, but only you can make it a reality. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Now go out there, take action, and create the life you deserve. The best is yet to come. If you've enjoyed this video and found these tips helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What action are you going to take today to change your life? I'd love to hear from you. And remember, taking action is the key to unlocking your full potential. Stay tuned for more videos on how to live a fulfilling life.